Hey guys, it's Demakia. So I had a spiritual dream recently. I'm going to fit that into its meaning because I think I already have it figured out. So I'll put it in your perspective. So let's say you move. Let's say you only have one friend left who it was actually ride or die. Mine has a YouTube channel. Joey Ocean, you should go check it out. He was in it. You should go check out Joey Ocean's channel. Now, chances are there's going to be one person in there who looks all natural and chill, but he's very negative on the inside. And he is, if you looked at my Wisdom of the Universe video, if not, go check that out. He was a serpent. Now, thanks. So, he was a serpent, but a serpent in hiding. Now, as I followed up in the last video, serpents are very deceptive and manipulative. Now, I feel the Bible, Christianity, gives it a bad name because they're not all bad. The animal itself is not bad. There's just a philosophical and metaphorical view they put behind it. Anyway, I'm putting the philosophical Bible view into the serpent. The animals are actually pretty cool. One of my favorites. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, in my dream, putting it into its spiritual meaning, I already know how to analyze my own dreams and what they mean since I became woke. So, here's me, and here's my crowd. Apparently in the dream we were like demon hunters or whatever. I'm not sure why that is, but I think that plays into it. Now, if you put demon hunters, I really only went along with it because I was skeptical because everybody else was in the dream. Now, I believe this was a dream on my past, and it was telling me what I should stick to. Now, as I always say, the ones surrounded by many are more likely to be brainwashed and put to sleep. The ones surrounded by few are more likely to become woke. So, in this dream, there was a demon that looked a lot like a guy that I cut out of my life. He was the philosophy or metaphor behind the serpent. We were doing great. I was very skeptical the whole time, but I got too ballsy. And this one conjured up one that reminds me a lot of the guy that I cut out of my life. I think it's telling me to keep him out because he could be coming back to spread more chaos. So this is all saying that in my past, I was manipulated into doing what everybody else wanted because I didn't want to look like a coward. But I know I'm not a coward because it doesn't matter what they think. We were all doing great, and I don't believe you should expel a demon. Love every spirit for what it is because they are all here to achieve the balance of dark and light, to help both. When I'm going to do tarot card readings in upcoming videos, I will not use white sage. I believe you need both sides to get a proper reading. So you take as above, so below. Love the spirit, do not hate it. And I think in my dream it was provoked because it just knew immediately what we were trying to do. And I usually don't see them with my third eye. I don't really have that power to see yet, but I know when it's active. But I can see it in my mind's eye, and it tends to chill out in my bedroom. Whenever I'm in the bathroom and I shut the door, I tend to see it in my mind's eye standing right outside the door. I don't remember the name, but I did look into demonology, and the one I see in my mind's eye looks a lot like it. I don't think it has ill intent, but as above, so below. Sorry, I'm getting off track. So, we provoked the demon, or spirit, and everyone else is getting chased and possessed. So, what will this manipulative person do? It will possess everyone around it that it can to achieve its ultimate goal. Now, possession usually means control, so it will be forms of manipulation. And people around me were getting possessed trying to kill each other, and it was his fault. Now, the demon it looked a lot like him. Pardon me, I'm not targeting the overweight, I'm just putting it into perspective. It had almost like a skull's face, but it was surrounded by like a shroud of a dark cloud. And when you saw its body, it tended to have a more chunky body. than thin. Now, if you take my friend, I will not drop a name because that's disrespectful. And you take, oh, he's not my friend. I know I'm drawing him with a bigger belly. I'm putting this together. I'm not being disrespectful towards the overweight. Put that into perspective. If you were to draw this in person forms and look a lot alike, I'm not going in detail. And it possessed one by one, and they tried to kill each other. When one would fail, it tried the other. But when that one couldn't do the next one, it tried until it found the right target. Now, I am of Christ consciousness in a way. I haven't tapped into the full Christ consciousness. I think there's certain levels you can get to of the power it possesses. There's different forms of Christ consciousness. I'm more jokey, playful, all of that, but I'm also pure love. I just tend to be really ornery in the right way, in a humor way. Now, when it couldn't find the right target, it finally chose this guy. It said, hey, he conjured me, let's try him. This guy didn't like me from the start. He was just fake about it, and I noticed. And in my dream, before it got to him, this was this huge, like, theater mansion warehouse looking building we were in, a huge building. We were in this spiritual domain, disrespecting them. So I went to go take it myself because people were wounded and in fear. But I think it's telling me to keep my ego in check. Because I went to go target this thing in my dream myself, because everyone else was in fear and hurt, and I said, hey, I got this. And I tried to take it on myself. And it was very powerful. And it chased me around, and eventually got to this guy. This guy's a lot bigger and stronger than me. This guy tended to mutate, as far as I remember, into like a cross-human spirit form. And he chased me right out of that warehouse. I had never seen myself run that much. It chased me all over the town. You take this as like a 10-block radius. It chased me all over town. And eventually, I got a call from one of my friends who has a YouTube channel named Joey Ocean. I don't think he'll mind. I might be getting him subs or views. I think it's about the money. I think he's doing his work, so he'll be doing his work for more people for whoever sees this. I stopped. He said, what's up, broski? I said, not much. You have a minute to talk? He said, I did. Now, in my dream, I saw him with his girl. And I think there were 2 other people, might have been another couple. Now, he just knows for a state of fear. He knows, he has a feeling for it. And he saw me sprinting in his direction. I was about to go past him, and he stopped me. About to go right past him, and he said, hey, what's up? I said, oh, what's up? He said, how you doing? I said, good, just working out. And he looked skeptical immediately, like I know better. And he said, I'll catch up with you guys. I'm going to talk to him personally. I went to talk to him. And he looked a bit different too. A bit younger, actually. He looked younger in my dream. So I'm starting to think that being woke actually gives you it gets you in touch with your inner child. You need to be in touch with your inner child. Otherwise, life's going to kick your ass. And that's a mistake a lot of people make. So I think it was stating that I need to stay in touch with my inner child. Stay with the one person who's supporting me. He's got other priorities. I can't say what's going on in his life. That's too personal. But he's got another priority to take care of. And we talked. And I was running all over town trying to get a ride to my house. And I felt like I was being followed. So the meaning behind that. In every group of friends, you will have a snake in hiding. It's very deceptive, manipulative for his own gain, his own fun, his own pleasure. And here's the one who talked everyone into doing this. He conjured up this one by himself. So when you put this all into perspective, don't be like paranoid about it, but look at your surroundings. If you can trust your gut, something doesn't add up. A lot of people say, this doesn't feel right. Then they try to lie to themselves and say, nah, I'm just being paranoid, it's fine. Okay, it is never fine. When you get that feeling, trust that feeling. That is the inner you trying to speak to you. And if you need to ditch your friends, do so. I never went back to this crowd. And I think it's saying I'm on the right path, cutting out the dead weight. The thing with a plant, a flower, or let's just say tomatoes, who knows? If you don't cut off the bad ends, the whole thing withers and rots. And I think it's telling me I'm on the right path. The spirit of Lilith, I highly believe, as I know. I can kind of feel her frequency in a way. Every now and then when I ask or I meditate. Has helped me establish boundaries with these kind of people. And when I stand up to myself, it goes great. And when I don't listen to myself, see, as I talked about in Wisdom of the Universe, you can tap into your own human devil half, or the metaphor behind it, philosophy, whatever, without being negative about it, as I talked about in Wisdom of the Universe. But when you start to do it more and more and more, and you just keep droning on and on, that's when you become negative, because you do too much. It's overkill. And I ended it by saying, have fun on the streets. See, my inner me said, you've done enough, block him. I didn't listen, and I kept going. And then I started to be the tormentor. See, there's a difference between revenge and justice. Justice will bring about something to hopefully say, hey, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should change that for the person you're bringing justice for. Vengeance is malicious intent, and justice can turn into vengeance. The trick to tapping into the devil within is to do so. Learn how to do it properly without falling too far into that void. Because when you fall too far into that void, you become what I perceive as the guy I cut out of my life that kind of represented the demon in my dream. I'm not going to say demons. Not all darker spirits are demonic, but they're all here to help in some way or another. People don't understand that, they're asleep. When you fall too far into this void, you become the typical playground bully. Let's just use a switchblade, put a cigarette. Let's make it a stereotype. Put a bit of humor in here. Give me your lunch money, you little wimp. See, a lot of people do that way too much. They go too far into the void, and it turns into negativity. And what does negativity turn into? It turns into self-torment, self-hatred. I was in self-hatred for my whole life until recently. There are still aspects about myself that I don't entirely love, but I'm working on it. Very honest man here. So when you look at that, you fall too far into the void. That leads to torment. And then when you're tormented, you feel weak. You don't like yourself. So you project your negativity onto someone you think you can. And it all works in different manners. Whether that's taking advantage of them for money. Tormenting them, I guess we'll use hell as a metaphor. A torture of hell. Putting someone through hell because it makes you feel powerful. So you could be using them. It can be the void. Tormenting so you don't feel so weak. But what happens when you start to feel weak again? Here we go. So let's say you are playing the devil in the wrong way. So what happens then, when you do that, you feel powerful, right? Hey, look at this. I'm powerful. And you feel weak again. Where does it go? right back to you. It's an endless cycle until you learn to break that cycle and live your life in the right way. And then if you tap into your inner darker half in the right way, you have a balance of dark and light. Dark, light. See, people perceive all kinds of these dreams as like sent by the devil, this, that, in between. Now, I believe I know the demon in my room or a spirit in my room because I see it in my mind's eye, but can I be 100% sure what race it is? You think about how many millions of kinds of spirits there are out there, if not more. It is not fair for me to box it into its own category, because do I know it is that kind of race? What if every single demon has or any spirit has a similar kind of power, but none are the same? It's like humanity. You can't target them into a race, is what I believe. Now, I can draw out what the face... This looks so stereotypical, but it's not. This is what I see in my mind's eye. I don't feel it. I love it for what it is. Now, I highly believe this one has no malicious intent. See, even the look doesn't unsettle me. I could literally go watch The Grudge and be unfazed. Because I have no fear whatsoever. I don't even fear death because I know I am eternal. I'm drawing out the face right now, but I highly believe it's here to help because I was taking a nap during the daytime. I've been thinking on this dream all day, and I think there could be a spirit of a lighter half and a darker one in my apartment, helping me with as above, so below, because my place used to feel like negative energy the second I walked in. Now it feels like the perfect balance of peace. You need one to have the other. That's kind of the face. It's kind of crappy, I guess, the way I drew it. And it's got some kind of mangly short hair on its head. But you cannot perceive all of these things as evil. There is only dark and light. And I think every dream you get, every tarot card reading, all of it, you need both halves to do it properly. You need both halves. One won't be battling for the other. I highly don't believe that. They're here to help you achieve balance. See, this thing has not, like, screwed me over, giving me sleep paralysis, any of that. Because I don't feel it. I say fear because this dream, I think, originally came from the universe or possibly spirits in my apartment. So fear is a form of discrimination. Yes, I know this was just about the dream, but I'm following up. Why not do a bit more? So, if you fear a spirit and you don't entirely understand it, that's discrimination towards the spirit realm, and to each their own perspective and objective. And fear is the most powerful negative emotion because that leads to every other negative emotion eventually. But you cannot fear them. And I believe that spirits of less light side means that have less light side tendencies are more likely to lash out. And I believe that is why Christians are more targeted by things like this. Because they go to a church and the pastor says, they're evil, they're screwed up, they're messed up, they're here to torment us. What happens when that happens? Would you not be pissed, pardon my language, if I called you the N-word and you were of color? How do you think they feel? They'd be like, you don't even know me, bitch. Why are you telling me? I'm not putting words in their mouth. This is how I'd feel. You don't know me, bitch. Why are you telling me I'm evil and you don't even know who I am? You don't even know what we do. You don't even know what category we're in. You don't even know if I'm a good spirit or a bad one, because Christians are asleep. And they project their fear onto what they do not understand. People fear what they do not understand. Quote from Master Splinter in the Ninja Turtles movie. People fear what they do not understand. And do you really have to understand it? That's the thing. We're never going to entirely know how these creatures, I'll say creatures, spirits, how spirits think until we're there and take a trip to the spirit world. I haven't yet, but you can use your third eye to do so. But even then, I might not. I really don't know. If I take a trip, will I ever know how the spirit, the deity of Lilith thinks? Probably not. There is far too much knowledge. I guarantee you my third eye would overload and I would die if I had all the knowledge she did in the human body. But if I died, I'd be a spirit and possess that knowledge. I don't fear death. If it happens, it happens. I know I am eternal. But this all plays into what my dream is. You see, if we flip it back over, he was projecting fear. Now I am an empath. I can pick up on these things, but it hits me hard. I have a different empathy. I can't describe it. I absorb this stuff. It's because it's constantly on. I can't just turn it on and off. I can't. And so if I'm in a room full of 10 people, I get very anxious because I'm picking up on everybody else's emotions. Now, with this one projecting all of his chaos onto everyone else, was me being an empath on a high level, and I can't turn it off and when I'm alone, it doesn't matter. I absorbed all of that, causing me to flee. So it could be telling me I need to get that under control and figure out how to handle it. But this all plays into a dream, okay? I believe the spirits in around us help put the dreams in our minds to help us. The universe, the spirits, they all play into spiritual dreams. And I only tend to remember these dreams, or portions of them, when they have a meaning. This has a meaning. This is what I've pieced together so far. But something is coming, and I think this person may be trying to let me back in. Well, I cannot enable him to use and prey on the weaker. It's predatory behavior. I'm sorry, buddy, you're on your own. But that's what this dream plays into. If something don't sit right, don't be scared if they call you a pussy. Because if they're calling you a pussy because you don't want to do what they want to do, then they're the pussies. Because they can't do it without you. It's when you separate, so catastrophe doesn't happen. Now, do you see all these scribbles I've done? That's a cloud in this way. It looks like a cloud of negativity. I didn't even notice that. And look who is basically untainted by the cloud. And look who has the circle around him of his own little protection because everyone else is in panic. This guy. But guess what else? Guess who was targeted and hence possessed by this guy? Him. So I think this could be a dream behind this specific person in my dream did not tap into his inner dark half in the right way and brought it out in the worst way, putting everyone in a state of panic. So always, if you're going to tap into your inner dark side and spread, I guess not negativity, I don't know the word, constructive criticism. That's what that could be, constructive criticism. But don't sugarcoat it either.